to be able to see if somebody's on or not. Be able to welcome them. Okay. Okay. I'm supposed to be seeing the comments. Can I see the comments here?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any comments yet. Nothing coming. Do you have any comments there on for YouTube? Hello, everybody. Anybody that is there, please go ahead and write your comments because I'm not seeing any comment right now. I want to welcome everybody that is here, that is coming. Yep, I'm on YouTube. Can't see it right now. But we have some people watching. Do you have problem with Facebook, with the internet? Is it okay? Is it okay? All right. Let me know if there's anybody there. Nobody is greeting us yet. I can't see your comments on YouTube. Facebook is on too. Okay, let's go and greet people from YouTube then. Okay, no problem. Let me find out who is there on Facebook. Okay. Hello guys on Facebook. All right, let's quickly go and share the message and the link for both for people on YouTube and Facebook. Please go ahead and share the message. Who do we have here on Facebook? We have here Honorio Day. We have Stephen, Vanessa, Francisca, Orenuga, Davidenka. Wow, Perez. Yes, Perez is back. Idore Charles, Vanessa. YouTube live chat is not on. Oh, I see. That's the problem. YouTube chat is not on. Sometimes it happens like that. The other, I encountered that one time. Lisa is here. They are saying hi, Perez.
Hi, guys.
Charles Smith, Ifeyiwa, Precious, Esther, Francisca, Ophel Ritze, God's Power, Alex, Tracy, Cecile, Ademola. Yep, please go ahead and invite your friends. Let's go share the message both on YouTube and on Facebook. Pamela is here. We have Samuel. Samuel is here. Okay, unfortunately, I can't see your comments on YouTube, but you know, we're still very glad to see you. They say, hello, big man Perez.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Somebody said he has to leave what he's doing to come and watch this particular episode. Well, we're very glad to be here with you. This is Perez. And who is Perez? Well, if you don't know by now, it means you must be new on the platform. Most people who are here, they know who Perez is. They're already greeting him as if he's an old friend. Well, let me tell you what happened. I'm just coming back from court. I was out all day today, and I was supposed to have a Kingdom Fruits episode. So Kingdom Fruit episode is an episode I normally have with people who have been able to make some impact in their lives and who, you know, after listening to DSS teachings and who have been following me and who are changing their world. So there is a guy, a brother like that in Nigeria who we really wanted to have for today. But unfortunately, I don't know, I guess, you know, with Nigeria, you always have issues with the internet. So we couldn't get the guy on. And since we're already late, and Perez just came down to be with us this time. And it just say, okay, good chance for us to profile and profile Perez. And I've not seen him for several years now, and we've not actually spoken for a long time. So, when was the last time you were home?
I came for your birthday.
So that was since May,
So
since
7 months.
7 months. So for 7 months we've not seen, and so that was the last time Perez was home. So Perez, tell us about yourself. What have you done this last year? How has your life changed this last year? And you don't just give your short answer as usual, but you go ahead and expatiate because this is a 1 hour long time.
All right. So
And speak louder so that people will hear it.
all right, guys. It's an honor of mine to be here on my dad's program. Even though I've been on several other programs in the past, it's always a thrill. It's always a pleasure to be here with him. So I am my dad's firstborn son, his only son. I am 19 years old, and right now I am studying in England. I study in a university called the University of Buckingham. I major in law, and I have a minor in business finance, also known as accounting. And I've been away from my family for 1.5 years now, and soon I shall be graduating. Hopefully I shall continue pursue my education to be a lawyer, and I haven't been home since May. I just came back briefly for my dad's 50th birthday. It was a really good time. I was only here for about 2-3 days, and now I'm here for about a month. I'm really glad to be here to see my mom, to see my sisters, and to see my dad especially. And I just decided to come here today to not especially participate, but I just decided to watch from behind the scenes. But however, as we had this predicament, my dad thought it was a good opportunity for me to be here with you guys. So here I am. And so this past year, as I've been 19, you can say this is one of the first years of adulthood. Even though I started university earlier, many people think that, when you turn 18, when you turn 19, that's when you're properly an adult, or in some other places, 21. So as I've been 19, it's been a hard year because we tried to get the highest grades possible, and you also try to be involved in any other extracurriculars as you can. So obviously with school, you have to do your studying, you have to do your library, you have to do your self-education, all that Dad has talked to you extensively about. And my school, it's an accelerated course. So a normal bachelor's degree in the UK would be completed in 3 years. However, this course is accelerated, so I'm finishing in 2 years. So the pressure is even more, it's even more tense, the tension is higher, the pressure is greater. So in order to fit this 2-year program, this 3-year program in 2 years, we have lots of little breaks. So if a normal university...
A lot of breaks?
No,
little.
We have little breaks.
Little.
Sorry, forgive me. We have little breaks. So if a normal university would have a summer break of, let's say, 3 months, my school, we have a summer break of 3 weeks. That's why I wasn't even able to come home over the summer holidays, because our break was only 3 weeks. So as you can tell, lots of studying I've been doing throughout this past year, and also...
Water for you?
Okay, for me.
Okay.
And also, because I was doing law with accounting, in June I also asked to be taken an extra module of law so that I wouldn't be missing out on any extra law courses that we're doing. So ever since June, I've been even put a greater load on myself because I'm doing an extra module compared to everybody else in university. So it's been tough, I can't lie, but I've been raised in the mentality, I've been raised to have a way of, you have to do the hard things first. And that's why I even had the opportunity to go and do so. That's why I even thought of, well, if I can take an extra module, why should I not? So that's what I've been doing since June. And also in June, I became president of my university's basketball club. And I took over the reins of the former president who was graduating. And I've been the president, I have a vice president and secretary. Also became the co-captain of the team during that time. So my responsibilities, they vary both from the academic side to also the physical side, the sports side. And we go all across the country to represent our university. So far, we've had 6-7 games, and we haven't lost any games yet so far.
Wow.
Last season, we came second in the league. So
What league?
It's a league.
University league.
Yes, different universities and different sports clubs. So we play against people our age, people that are older than us, people that maybe played in national leagues, people that played in different universities. So I just play in that league for my university. And last year we came second. This year we're trying to go first. and we haven't lost at all this year, so we're trying to continue that. So I really learned that probably the most important thing that I've had to learn is time management, because it's not easy to have all this schoolwork that I'm being assigned, and also responsible for my basketball team, having to plan how we're gonna get to this city, when is our next
also
game,
being the captain and
being the captain
and the president as well.
and the
Is
president.
it the president or the
Yes.
chairman? Okay.
And maybe like watching the kids, who's responsible for that, carrying all the basketballs. So time management is really important, and learning how to prioritize. And I've really learned that you try to do what you can as early as possible throughout the week. If I have an assignment due on Friday and I have, for example, Thursday free, and I have practice in the evening, you wouldn't want to just have your practice and then after practice, when you're tired, have to complete an assignment. It's much wiser to possibly wake up early, do your assignments, maybe do half, then go to class, eat lunch before you go to practice, finish it, and then you're able to go to practice, and then after practice you can come home, you can rest, get ready for the next day. Because procrastination and leaving everything to the last minute is a huge temptation in university, especially because they give you assignments maybe 3 months ahead of time, maybe 2 months ahead of time.
For you to plan out your time. Eh?
And they give it to you for you to plan out your time. But as university students, you think, oh, I have time, I have all this time. So you end up leaving the whole assignment to maybe, good case scenario, 2 weeks before it's actually due. But that's not wise at all. And since I've been raised with my dad and my mom, who had such great academic success, they really taught me that you shouldn't leave anything of that magnitude towards the last minute. That as soon as you get that assignment, as soon as you have any idea about what the assignment is about, you need to start making steady progress about it. That you shouldn't leave it completely to the last moment. That if you have 6 weeks to do an assignment, every week and ideally every day, you should be trying to chink away little by little at that assignment. And that type of approach, that helps me with every step that I have to do. It helps me with, let's say, cooking. Instead of cooking one meal per meal, I'm able to cook maybe at one time a big meal that it could last me, let's say, 3 days, for example, with leftovers and things like that. Because it's just smarter to time manage your way that way, and it's smarter to meal prep that way. It just makes it much easier. So you're not wasting, let's say, an hour every day times 3 to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you can spend maybe 3 hours one Sunday, then you can have food for 3 days. You're just saving much more time. It helps me with basketball, that I can plan ahead. I can plan ahead our games. We can plan ahead our time schedule, plan different promotions for the university, etc., etc. So this whole concept of managing your time, managing how to prioritize your time, it's a very important skill that it can be worked on, and it should be worked on. Because if you leave everything to the last moment, you're just gonna implode. And especially being in the atmosphere that I am, where it's a 2-year university, where everything is already accelerated, which means everything is harder, it doesn't leave you much room for failure. Because if you mess up one little thing, you will just backslide very easily. So I was able to get the reasoning and the way I was raised up, I was able to get it from my parents. And when I was able to finally apply it in a different atmosphere than the one that I was used to at home, I was able to see that it provided great dividends. In my last set of exams, I was able to get one of the highest grades in one of the subjects, and so they even put like your name on the wall. And I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for my parents' preparation that they instilled in me.
And you had an award in something, a photograph you sent there.
Yeah, it was the same award because they gave me a certificate for like one of the highest.
What was you were holding something like a...
Oh, and that was on the sports side actually. I won the Sportsman of the Year award at my university, where I think the university recognized that even though I wasn't the president at that time, I was a leader on the field and on the court, and we were able to reach a second place, which was the highest we had gotten in many years. So I was recognized and I was awarded with the Sportsman of the Year award for our university.
Beautiful. Now you are talking about time. Since you are gone, I've written 2 books on time.
I haven't even read these.
Of course, yeah. You know, I've written many more books, of course, but this how to become great through time conversion. So I think you need to have a copy of that. There are so many books that I've written since you left, but so this one that will really even help you to be better. Before you go back to school, if you could read it, it will even make you better when you get back.
Amazing.
Yeah. Then another one is what to do with your time. So there is another one. What to do with your time. Mm-hmm. And then this one is how to become great through time conversion. So it's creating your greatness. This is, learning and knowing what to do with every time. So these two books are actually books that you are talking about. You are talking about skills from this book.
Yeah, because the stuff that my dad writes about in his books, this is stuff that he's been teaching me and my sisters when we were kids. But he wouldn't just tell us in a book format. He'd just drop some friendly advice here. If we're struggling, he'd tell us this. So my dad.
But we used to meet and
and we used to have proper lessons about this
every day.
Every day we'd try to specify. I don't remember, it was 15, 30 minutes per child that we could discuss a topic, we could learn some
between
lessons.
30 to 1.5 hours.
Yeah, between 30 and 1.5 hours where we just have a discussion where we get to know our dad better and at the same time learn about proper
value
life
systems,
life principles and life values. So these things where I think that it maybe could be obvious or things that I would just grew up with, this is stuff that he's writing in his books for you guys. And as you can see, it's clearly working. And I'm just grateful that you guys are able to get as much knowledge as I could and even more, because even though Dad told us a lot, he's still showing a lot. He didn't tell us everything as we were kids, since we can't comprehend everything. And he's putting it all out for you guys in these books. And it's just amazing that he's doing this.
Yeah. So now another question that people might want to know about from you is, how does it feel living with your parents all your life and then moving to another country? And when you move to another country, what does that look like when you move to another country and then you have to live all alone by yourself? It's not like you live in the dormitory when somebody has to help you and they have to plan out your time and your life for you. So even traveling by yourself, but there are a lot of people who might be watching us right now who might also be getting ready to go to college. And maybe some of the parents also are watching us whose children are about to go to college. So what is that like, trying to go to college? Because you have Zoe also going to be getting ready to go to college. So what kind of advice can you give to a lot of other people, young men, adolescents, ladies, who will be leaving home or their countries to go to college? Well, what is that like? What's that experience like? And what are the lessons?
Yeah, I think for me, I was fortunate that I had been to the UK before. If you compare Ukraine and the UK, you can see that they're vastly different countries. There's a whole different culture, a whole different language. Everything is completely different. So when I came to the UK to start my tenure at the university, I'd never visited the university before. I didn't know where I was. I knew that I had a place, but I didn't know how my room looked. And I didn't know anything about the campus. So it was going to be a shock for me, nevertheless, because it was just a shock of living alone. And I had a similar experience previously where I spent a year in boarding school in Nigeria. And even though in boarding school, you don't have your own personal room, but for me, it almost felt like a whole new experience because I hadn't been in Nigeria for other than holiday. This was obviously a boarding school. I had to find out where you eat, where you go to school, where you lived. So I was able to recall my memories from then and try to apply it to situations now. And advice I'd give to maybe upcoming students who are going to go off to a whole new world, whole new country, is that you just need to make sure you're grounded, that you shouldn't be swayed by everybody, because especially let's say as a first year in university, everybody goes there by the collective. One person will just say something, and the general thing is just to go with the flow. One person will be like, let's have pizza for dinner, and then let's say 30 other people just be like, yeah. And not many people would just think individually, because the atmosphere, because the thinking that they tell you is yeah, you try to meet as many friends as possible, try to go out as much as possible, try to have as many activities as you can together as possible. And that's not exactly bad advice. But you should just remember that you need to prioritize that you shouldn't be blowing off your schoolwork every night in order to be going out with your friends. You shouldn't be not cleaning your room and just leaving it in a mess just because your friends say, yeah, let's go somewhere this time or do something alike. You need to always have your priorities straight. You need to always stay grounded in what you believe in, because your parents, they told you, like, for example, don't leave your room without making your bed, or wash all your dishes after you use them. And in university, when you're alone, when there's no one looking out for you, because everyone's looking out for themselves in the end, nobody's going to be telling you to, you have to go make your bed, or you have to wash your dishes, or you have to do laundry, or you have to vacuum the floor. You have to do that all by yourself. You need to have a system, or you need to have something inside of you that is strong, that won't be swayed every time someone suggests something, that you will just leave all your responsibilities and go. Because that's just a huge thing that first years they do, that they just like to be as a collective and do everything together, and which usually means that they are not taking care of their responsibilities. The most important advice I can give someone is that if your parents have taught you well, they've taught you in a way that you believe is right, that you believe that they've reached their success by following that way, why would you stop following that way just because you moved out of their house? If you believe in the way that they've raised you, and of course maybe there might be some little things that you don't agree with, but if you believe in the general principles that you were taught, then it makes no sense to just depart from them as soon as you have some freedom. So I think for these upcoming students, you just need to remember what your parents taught you, and you should always just have a strong foundation of what you do, because at least for me, I know in America it's very common for you to have a roommate, but in my university you have your own room. So you have like a sink, you have your closets, your bed, your desk, etc. So no one was taking care of that for me. I had to clean it, had to take care of it. So, and I assume that would be the situation for many other people, where they won't have maybe roommates that could maybe help them in some way. It'll be all you. So you need to always have a principle of discipline and a principle of prioritizing what is right, prioritizing going to school, prioritizing going to your classes, doing your work that is assigned, not leaving all your essays to the last minute, just making sure that everything that you were taught while you stayed at your parents' house actually goes on with you, and so that you start living a lifestyle like that.
When I was in university, I remember when I was 19, and then I came here when I was 19, so I had my birthday. I could remember it from my birthday because I was 19, then I was already 20, so I celebrated my first real proper birthday here when I was 20 years old. So, but talking about academic excellence,
Okay.
the strategy that I used, and there was a situation that pushed me into that strategy, was because I was coming from Idomila, and I've never spoken English when I was back at home. I never did speak.
Okay.
I was learning English as in the classroom. There is always English class, a subject.
Yeah.
So, and then I will read, but
Okay.
I never actually spoke English with anybody.
Interesting.
Yeah, so only one time I could remember myself speaking English, when I met Aunt Susan.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went to the house and I just say one sentence, one phrase. So I never really spoke English, and then so my accent was definitely Ijebu Yoruba accent. So when and then that was the way I came here to Russia, and I needed to learn Russian language, and then I came late. I came 2 weeks late, so the classes were already going on, and people were already beginning to speak a little bit of the language, and so my teacher said I would never speak the language because I was so late and he couldn't understand my accent, and so everything was so much against me. So that pushed me to say, okay, the Bible said I was going to be the head and not the tail. If the Bible says I'm going to be the head and not the tail, and now the professor is telling me I will never pass, I don't want the word of God to fail in regards to me. So I knew what to do. I knew that I needed to, because I had discovered that secret before I left Africa, that I needed to work hard, to be diligent, to really work hard, to discipline myself, and to study, to read, and then to pray and trust God. So as a result of that, that same day, when that professor said I would never pass the Russian language, that was the day I took the decision that, okay, we finished school at 2:30, then I did 30 minutes to go and eat in the canteen, in the cafeteria. So once I do that, I will spend the next 6 hours in the university and in the library. So I started that was the day I started the culture. I developed the discipline for myself. Thank God I was not doing a lot of sports like professionally. I was doing a little bit, but that I could manage that myself. So what I did was I said, okay, from Monday to Friday, every day, I will be going to the library. So I will always be there for 6 hours a day. And that was it became a blessing in disguise, because later on, when that was just the first year, the preparatory class, but when I got to university proper, it became my strength, and that also became a discipline that has helped me all through life. Now, so for example, when I was about to start the church here, that 6 hours that I put into sitting down in one place and just reading, the discipline, it was already in me. So that stamina was there. So that stamina, I could now take it to go and pray for 6 hours, for example, or read the Bible for 6 hours, or things like that. So, the stamina was there. So that was the strategy that I used to, pursue academic excellence. Spending 6 hours in the library for the next 6 years really made me to be on top of the class. I didn't have too much distraction, because that was just like determination. So any other thing I will always do when I'm when I'm free, when I have time for it. Every other thing was secondary. So what is your own strategy to maintain academic excellence? Maybe it could help somebody else out there.
Yeah. Well, I think in this day and age, more people would relate to a situation not where you go to a whole different country in a whole completely different language. Because my dad, he had to go beyond what a normal student would have to, because he didn't know the language. He barely knew the language that he was being taught in. So he definitely had to go beyond what was expected of him in order to become of academic excellence.
Yeah.
For me, since I've gone to an American school for most of my life, as possibly you might say from my accent, and even though I went to the UK, it's still English and English. So for me, I still have to do a lot of studying, but you wouldn't think I'd have to do as much drastic measures as my dad. For me, I just told myself that I need to make sure I understand everything that I'm being taught. So let's say if you have 2 lectures in a day, and let's say from 10 to 12, and then from 1 to 3. So let's say then my day ends at 3, and I have practice at 8, for example, to 10. So I have and I already ate lunch, so I have between 3 and 8 in order to make sure I actually understand what I was taught today. And it's very tempting to just go home, because my house is usually closer to me than the library. It's very tempting to just go home, say, okay, I'll just rest a bit, maybe I'll do some homework later. Before you know it, it's already time to go to practice, and then you just wasted basically your day. It's much smarter for you to try to force yourself to get into a setting where the only study. That's what I found for me, that when I'm in the library, when I'm in a place of quiet, when I'm surrounded by books, it's much easier for me to concentrate and actually understand that, okay, I'm here, I want to leave, obviously, to go home soon. Let me make sure I understand what I was just taught about 2 hours ago. Because nowadays, they usually give you handouts, they usually give you maybe they give you pages in the books where you can read in order to fortify what you understand, what was taught in the lecture. So what I do is I go to the library, I try to do it right after class, because I know that if I go home, then temptation to stay, to just study at home will come, and then I know that if I study at home, the studying won't be as effective as it would be in the library. So I try to go home, I try to go to the library right after class, after I've been taught a subject, then I try to go and read over what I've been taught, because you can be taught many things throughout the lectures, and many lectures, the professors, they can be monotone, so it's very hard to stay focused for the whole 2 hours and understand everything he said. And also because usually there's about 3-4 books concerning a topic. for example, since I do law, let's say criminal law, there'll be easily 5 textbooks about criminal law. Each author writes about the topic in a different way. The professor may teach you in one way, but if you go to read a book, maybe the way the author wrote it there, you'll understand it better than the way the professor taught you. Because many people have different styles of teaching and many people have different styles of learning. For me, I find that through the books, I'm able to understand, if not easier, but understand more thoroughly a subject, also because I don't have a time limit. A lecture, especially in my school where everything is so condensed, they have to get through a lot of material in a limited time. Not that they skip over things, but that means they have to go over things quicker than if it was, let's say, a 3-year university where they'd have more time to properly explain everything. Thus, at least for me, what I try to tell myself is that I can't leave until I understand the topic that was taught to me today.
Mm-hmm.
And because even though I have like other responsibilities like practice, then I'd have to leave for practice. But I'll try to tell I can't leave early until I properly understand what I've just been taught. And they also, at least in my university, they might give you some examples of questions that might pop up in an exam or in a real life application. So the way I would be able to test myself is, will I be able to answer this question right now after what I've read in the books and after what I've been taught by the professor? If I feel like I can properly give a good answer, then I feel like I've learned the topic and I feel like then I can go home. But if I feel like I'm still shaky, then I have to continue reading, maybe go online, look at some sources online. And so I think it's just important to try to find all the sources that have been presented to you, because now universities, they pride themselves in giving as many resources to their students as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really smart to actually take advantage of all those resources that you are being presented with. And at least for me, because many different topics, they're very hard to understand sometimes. However, reading the same topic in 5 different ways, it really helps understand it, and then I'm able to form my own way of understanding it. And also, it's very important to write down, if not during the lecture, write down from the book what you understand in order to give yourself some sort of overview. That's also what I've learned, that you may learn word for word everything in a book, but if you don't grasp it, if you go in the exam and they throw the question off slightly, then you're stuck, because all you know is just word for word, but you haven't actually understood what they're talking about. Because if you have a proper understanding over a topic, even if they switch up the question on you, you'll still be able to understand, because you still understand the whole concept. So I think that's the idea that I try to, at least for me personally, that's what I've been able to find out, that I need to fully understand the concept of the topic that I've been taught. And because of that, it's much simpler when you get to the exam times and then you get to the preparation. If you also have your notes that you've been making since day one, you won't be scrambling near the end when it's time for your exams, being like, oh, I don't know this, I don't know this. If everything's already set in your notebook, this is the topic, this is what I know from the topic, then it'll be much simpler for you to actually prepare and start memorizing and understanding this concept.
What is the importance of you being involved in extracurricular activity like sports, despite the fact that you are not getting any grade for that? So what is that? What does that add to you, or what does that give you? What is the need for it? Even though many people might not be involved in any sport. So what does that add to you? What does that give you? Is that just for yourself, or there's other additional advantages in it?
Well, I've been doing sports for almost my whole life, since I can remember. And when I came to university, I was a bit worried that there might not be a basketball team. But thankfully, my fears were squashed when I found out that there was. And for me personally, basketball is not just a sport, it's almost like a way of life. It really helps with your mental discipline, because it's one thing that you can think, oh yeah, I can read for hours. But it's another thing completely to run for hours. You think that your body's gonna break down, your lungs hurt, your feet hurt, everything hurts, for example. And so when I found out through sports that it really is a whole different mental field than academics, because and also it helps.
Mental or physical?
It's both, because your body reacts to what your mind tells you to do. Because you can run, if you want to continue running, it's your mind that will tell you to continue running. Your legs will continue running, even if they hurt. You can still be able to walk and walk and walk. The thing that tells you to stop is your mind. And with basketball, every move you make, it's a mental thing. Because you're playing against someone, you have to think, the other person has seen me play, he's going to try to predict my moves. You have to think of a way to get around the person either way. You're also playing with 4 other people. You need to have a grasp of this mental thing, mental positioning, where other people are, where they have to give them the ball, can you help them in any way? For me, sports and basketball is as much a mental thing as a physical thing, because you can't have sports without some sort of mental training. Because if you go out there and you just try to dribble and just try to shoot at any time, you're not going to be successful, because you need to know how to think. You need to learn how to actually become mentally strong. And for me, also obviously I enjoy the sport. I wouldn't be only playing it just to be increasing my mental fortitude. It's also fun for me to stay in shape. It's a fun way to bond, because obviously if I do law with accounting, I mainly only see people that are in law. I only see people that are in accounting. Basketball also gives me a great way to find new friends, because there's no requirement that basketball players can only be from law. There's no requirement that basketball players can only be from one certain field. The whole university is invited to play basketball, which means I'm able to increase my social life that way. I'm able to get more connections. And through sports, you find that you just get a bond through sports, because you're trusting people, especially if this means a lot to you. For example, if winning a championship means a lot to you, you have to trust your teammates, which means you're going to have a bond with your teammates. You can sit in a lecture hall with someone for 4 years and never speak to them, never know them. But in basketball, you can't be a player without communication, without trust. So you need all those things. So for me, it's a great social benefit as well. It's a great mental, it really helps with my mental strength, because if you can, for example, if you can play basketball for 3 hours, that's your mind telling you to do so. It's not only your body. It could also help when you transfer that mental strength to academics, like with my dad, that he was able to just sit and study for 6 hours. That also takes mental strength. So it's a different type of mental strength. Yeah, it's still important. And also, since I'm now a president and co-captain of the basketball team, that also helps with my leadership skills, helps with my planning, helps with my teamwork. So there's a lot of benefits, at least for me, for basketball. And in most other sports, it's the same type of way. It really helps, and especially since we go to university with the goal of graduating with high honors in our degree. But it's also important that you have a balance to your life. If you only stay, because even Dad said that even though he wasn't doing as much sports as me, he was still doing some sort of fitness in order to maybe clear your mind, or in order to give your mind a rest. Because I mean, it is possible to be going 100% only academics, but it probably isn't good for your health. So it's important to have a good balance of all these things. So for me, it really helps have a balance between my academics and my physical life.
What about the leadership? Being a captain, is that not going to be too much? Being the captain of the team in the field, and you are just in the university for 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, and then being the president of the club, is it a club?
Yeah.
Of the club, also is another challenge. So those are 2 leadership positions there. So it means, because that's one of the, when you are graduating from the
The university.
no, from your high school.
Or from high school.
Yeah, KCA. When you are graduating from the high school, that's one of the things that we noticed. Because when we came for your graduation, everybody was kind of noticing you and sharing you up. And then Zoe was there and was so are these people classmates with Perez? He said, no, but everybody knows Perez. Perez is the most popular guy in this university. So, and somebody was saying, is it because it's funny or something? So Zoe was saying, no, because it's a leadership. He said, first of all, you have interaction with people, you make people feel good around you, but then She also mentioned leadership. So it means this university where you went to as well, not just in your high school, they probably noticed some leadership qualities why they should put you both as the president and then as a captain. So tell us about what is the role of leader. I always tell people, when people ask me what are the three most important things in life, I always talk about three things. What are the most important things in life? I mean, qualities in life to have. I always say, build relationship,
Okay.
stewardship, serve,
Okay.
and leadership. So three ships here: relationship, stewardship, leadership. So those are the things that will really position you in life to be the best person that you could be out there and to be of a blessing to the rest of the world. So leadership. And for you to really be a good leader, for you to actually become a leader, you need stewardship. You need to serve people. And then you need relationship for them to trust you with that. So all that is kind of, if you have the three of them, you are in a good place. So what will you say about leadership? Since maybe you want to mention a little bit about leadership in your high school, or maybe is it more in your, did you start noticing leadership traits in your high school, or you started noticing it in the university, or what is that coming, where is that coming from, and what's your position, what's your thinking about leadership? How important is that for you?
Okay. Just to clarify, when I say captain, that's captain of the basketball team, that's for what's happening on the basketball court. So when you go out there, the people that start, they always say like, who's captain? So you shake hands with the other captain. So you're responsible for the people on the court, and then like you're responsible for getting people the ball, for scoring, etc. When I speak of president, that's for stuff that's off the court. That's for planning on where the basketball goes, where the kids go, where's our next game, etc., etc. But I'll get back to that in a bit. So leadership, in my school, every year there's a conference that you go to. It's called a Student Leadership Conference, and I remember
in high school. Or?
Yeah, in my high school, and I remember going for it. I think it was in Hungary, and when I went there, I thought I was a bit out of place, because usually when you think leader, you think of a loud guy, an extrovert, someone who knows everybody, someone who's friendly. And in my school, I was sort of like that. As Zoe said, that many people knew me. But then when you get into that atmosphere of everybody being like that, then you're curious, because you're gonna see like who's gonna fold to different leaders, who's gonna be like a different type of leader, who's gonna show their different types of leadership, like maybe the stewardship leader who serves people, the person who leads people by like being the first in the team. And there I always thought I was a bit out of place, because I felt like I was going to be more of a stewardship leader, but then by the end of the conference, it seemed like I was more of the person where people was following. So that type of conflict, you could say, would follow me throughout all of high school, where I want to maybe be more of a serving role, be more behind the scenes, but because of my personality and maybe my physicalness, where I was tall, that I'd end up being more like on the front stage, center of attention. So I carried that with me onto university, and I got there to my basketball team, and I was thinking that, I just got here, I don't know if I want to like intrude, maybe like show them like the leadership thing right away. So at the beginning, I was just focusing on playing basketball, just showing them that I could be a valuable asset to the team. And by doing that, people just started to see the type of leader that I was, and in that aspect, I was trying to be more of the stewardship serving leader, while just trying to, make the right play for my team, make sure that my team was doing well, maybe give the open person the shot, score when I have to score, etc., etc. So a few practices, a few games, and then my team members started coming up to me, and they were saying, hey, like, you're a good player. Are you sure you don't want to be like, get closer to like the captain position? Are you sure you don't want to like take sort of like a bigger role on the team? And I think for me, that was really eye revealing, that even though I may want to be more of a stewardship leader, the type of leader that is probably better for me and probably I can be of more impact is the type of leader that's out in the front, that is running the show, you could say. And I think that's when so this is probably about last year around maybe in the middle of the basketball season, that's where I think I like accepted that I was going to be more of that front of the show type of leader, where I won't be like behind the scenes. And so that's around the time where I started becoming like the co-captain of the team. And then after the season was over, the president was graduating, and we had to hold elections for the new president. And almost everybody elected me to be president. And earlier and throughout the year, I was thinking, would I really want to be president? Would I really want to be like representing the club as a person? But when that time came, I knew that I was ready for it. I knew that I really wanted to. I realized that even though I would be almost the face of the club, that I could still serve the leader, serve my team, serve everybody through my actions. And as I realized, as I got into this role, all the things that I do is actually serving all these people. Because if I don't wash the basketball kids, who's it going to be for? It's going to be bad for my team. If I do wash them, it's good for my team because I'm serving them. If I don't bring the basketballs, who is it bad for? My team. If I bring the basketballs, who am I serving? My team. And I think in my mind, it just helped me realize that even if I am in the front of the show, everything I do, I'm still doing it for my
team. So it goes back to what Jesus said. For anybody who wants to be the greatest, should be the least.
Yeah.
To be the first, you have to be the last.
Yeah.
To be the to be the number one, you've got to be the slave, the servant of all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree, because if you focus on just helping, if you focus on helping others,
stewardship,
people will eventually begin to realize that, and then they will put you in a position maybe of leadership automatically. And as for me, like I said earlier, I didn't want to like get in that position automatically. I just wanted to make sure that I'd enjoy the club. But as I was just serving my team, just making sure I was doing the best for my team, guess what happened? I became co-captain and consequently president of the club. So definitely that's 3 shifts of what to become like a great person.
What are the other popular sports team in your school, apart from basketball?
My first year, there was a football team. Since it's the UK, everybody loves football. But this year, for some reason, there was no football team. Okay. I think they couldn't find either a good league for them, so that was disbanded. So they used to be like the number 1 big team on the campus. Okay. But since they aren't around now, at least for this season, so basketball became the number 1 sports team sort of in the university. So we have many people many fans that are coming to our game. We're also trying to promote like fans. We start like putting our games, our basketball highlights like on YouTube. We like have flyers all around the university to say you can come and watch our games. And also badminton is a big sport at our school. And there's other things like tennis, netball, things like that. But basketball is becoming pretty big, especially since this year. It's been pretty big at my university.
And what about your courses, your main course, which is law and accounting? So which one would you say where you feel yourself most comfortable? Do you think you have, after looking back, you have half the course, right? You are halfway.
3 quarters.
3 quarters. So you are more than half, beyond half. So what would you say you are doing? Do you know what you are doing right now? Do you think you know what you are doing? And do you think you have made the right choice, or you are still studying, you are still on the, and which one of the two will you say, or you would just like to combine the two? Or how do you see yourself navigating and assessing and looking back at the degree in terms of the future professional wise and and the future after graduation and all that. So how do you think you have made the right choice? Because some people might still be having doubts, or some people might be sure that I'm actually in the right place.
Okay. Well, originally I was only going to do just law without anything, but my mom, she pushed me to try to do something else, try to do law with something else, because I knew I wanted to do law since maybe I was 11 or 12. But she also thought that in order to give myself a little bit of variety, because I wasn't sure what type of law I wanted to do, when I entered university, like what type of law I wanted to study, like future, what type of lawyer I wanted to be. So she also recommended I do a different type of minor in order to give myself like, so I could experience different types of fields. So I chose accounting because I thought that if anything, money with law seems like those two would be sort of connected in any case. So as I've been studying, as I've been taking different law modules, different accounting modules, I think I am confident that I prefer law to the accounting, even though the accounting I understand more, not understand more, but it's a concept that I'm used to more. Because with law, it's a whole different area. It's like you need your critical analysis, you need your legal analysis, you need to bring your own opinion, you need to like gather opinions of different people as well to form your own opinion. With accounting, it's stuff that everybody's done. It's like math, it's numbers, you just need to follow a formula. With law, it's like they're looking for a specific answer, but they're looking also for your version, specific answer. So even though the accounting is something that you could say is you're easier or you'd be more familiar with, for me, I definitely prefer my law modules more. And that's also why I asked to take an extra law module so that I wouldn't be missing out on any law classes. So I know definitely that law is the type I want to go to. I know that it's a sort of financial law that I'd like to. Ideally, I'd be able to mix both my law degree and my accounting degree and to get that into a profession. But that'd be like difficult. So for now, I'm going to do my
financial law, yeah, because there are different law areas. You know, it could be financial law, economic law, or it could just be different. So this mixture gives you the preparation to be able to do law in the area of finances, economy, industrial.
There's like corporate law, taxation law, banking law, etc. So I was thinking that that's the area that I do want to go to, that type of financial corporate law. And I think when I do my master's, I want to do it in banking and finance law, that it will really help specify. And when I finish with that, I'll be able to have, like when, let's say, law firms look at me, they'll be able to see that he has a background in law, has a background in accounting, and he also have a background in banking, which would sort of make me different than the rest. And honestly, any one of those avenues, I think I'd be very interested in. But ideally, it'd be finance law that I'd like, because it'd be the closest to mixing with the accounting and with the law aspects. So I think ideally, if you do a major and a minor, you try to find a job that require both, or at least a little bit of both. And what I've come across is that this area of finance law, and as I've done my research on it, since masters will already be done like next year, since I'll be starting it next year hopefully. And so after all research, after finding out different laws, that's the type of law that I figured out I want to do.
Now, you remember you had a meeting, an opportunity to speak to one doctor from Finland.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was also trying to advise you before you went into the university. Do you remember your conversation, and do you think it was, a blessing that you spoke to him, or you can't remember?
I remember slightly, because this happened, 2-3 years ago. 2-3 years, definitely before I went off to university. But he was the one that, he helped like mold the idea that accounting would be like a good second, like a second background to my law. Because at that time, I was thinking I'd want to do something along the lines of immigration, because I like had Nigerian
law and immigration.
Yeah, like immigration law. Because I was thinking like I have a Nigerian passport, I need a visa to everywhere, and then other countries don't need a visa to like anywhere. So, or stuff like immigration, like refugees. I was thinking like find a way to do that, find a way to
use law. Of people knowing that.
And then I was thinking like, and then he helped me like understand that it's actually harder than like what your mind tells you to do. If you're like your mind can tell you like, oh, I want to like do this, but he like helped me actually make it like realistic. He like helped me show the way of how he was doing, and he also then used his life as an example of how he came up and how I think he wanted to do something else. Ended up being like professor in many different universities as well. and then he helped me he recommended like different types of law, and he also helped me like trying to figure out like he made me like be real with myself, not like what I would think would look the best, but things that I think I'd be like most effective in, things that I'd be best in. And I think that's how I was able to think that something along that finance avenue. So that was like always in the back of my mind. And then when I was given the option of doing law with the minor, accounting would be like the closest to that money type of avenue in real life. And then now as I had some law courses, I've had some accounting courses, I was able to like understand that he was actually right, that things that I actually think I'd be effective at and good in would be in these avenues.
Let's leave the university life. I think you also had some time to catch up with some relatives. I think maybe some of them will be watching you right now, maybe not, but you had a few times, some holidays to catch up. So who are the relatives you were able to catch up with over there?
Yeah, I was able to meet up with the Bantricos, Uncle Wale and Aunt Rosalind. I spent one of my summer breaks, I spent almost all of it, well, my summer break was like 3 weeks. So I spent like 2 weeks with them. I stayed with them. They have 2 sons that are around my age. So I was able to hang out with them. I was able to rest with them. And they're also offering university. So we're just able, even though they're doing different degrees, we're still able to like converse. We're around the same age, have similar interests. So we're able to converse. We're able to enjoy ourselves. Also during one of my term breaks, I spent it with Aunt Ronke and her husband. Also, it was really fun. Yeah, Uncle Wale. It was really
Walter.
Yeah, it was really good to be with them, and also he also have a son that's a little bit younger than me, but pretty close. And so I was able to spend my time with them. It was really good, like finding out more about my dad's side of the family through them, because they also know a lot about that side. So it's really good to just, because when they used to come visit for the anniversaries, and they used to come frequently when I was younger, but not as frequent as I got older. It's much easier now being in the same country with them, being able to visit sometimes, and also got to see Aunt Tineke and her children. And
did you see? You saw Tineke too?
Yeah,
okay.
I was able to spend some time with them when I was with Aunt Ronke. Their family would visit because they're sisters, so I was able to see them. I was able to spend some time with them, and I think that's all for the relatives. Also spent some time with Pastor Dele and his family.
Okay.
Even though not our relatives, but they're very good family friends of ours. And it was really good to see them because...
And you spent time, did you spend enough time with Pastor Gray though?
Yeah, this was mostly before I went to university.
Okay.
When I was like deciding like where I was going to stay, I stayed with him for some time, and I got to really know his church, got to really know...
Now you're a man of your own, right?
Yeah.
So now you go and stay where you want.
Yeah, now I have like more freedom. I know more of the country.
More people.
More connections, more people. So I'm able to not just be in one place, but try to visit.
But do you get to see him in the university, or does he come around?
Yeah, even though we don't have the same classes, we'll still see him because it's a small town. It's sort of like our town in Irpin.
So
it's a small town.
Him,
So I do see him maybe driving his car or going into some classroom while I'm in the library or something.
Okay.
So I see him and his wife from time to time.
Now, what have you been able to make some friends? Because some people say university is a time to strike some lifetime friendships and things.
Definitely. I think if you go into university and you leave with no friends, then you definitely did it wrong, because being in university where so many people come from so many different backgrounds, it should just be interesting for you to find out how people got there, how people grew up. And my school is very international, so people from all over the world, people that I never think I'd see people from, or people,
from countries you never knew you know.
Yeah, countries you never think you'd even like, places like Maldives, Mauritius, Guyana, the Bahamas. So if my roommate is from the Bahamas, so I never thought I'd live in the same place as someone from the Bahamas, for example. So just like that, you're able to make true lifelong friends, because when you're in university, in a place where you are able to choose your friends. In high school, it's more like you don't really get to choose because you're there, like you go there every day. You sort of become friends just by being there. But in university, when you're more or less adults and you get to like properly choose your friends, I can see why.
How do you get to choose friends? How do you even get to know who you're? Because you don't choose your classmate. I mean, your roommate, right? Somebody just put them there.
No, no, no.
Or you get to choose. How do you get to know who you want to be with and all that?
Well, like I said earlier, when I lived in student accommodation, I had my own room without any roommates. Right now, I live in an apartment with my roommate. So we chose together. We chose the apartment together. We chose to live together.
But you never knew them before you never knew him before you got there.
Yeah. So the first year when I stayed in student accommodation, I stayed alone. So that's when you're able to like find new friends. You see them through, like I said, either through basketball, through your classes, through any social events the university can organize. And as you spend this year with them, as for example in your mind you're thinking, okay, next year I don't want to stay in accommodation, I need a roommate. Then you're like, for example, you're thinking like, who I want to be a roommate. As you spend this much time with them, you get to see like who's serious about their studies. If you're in the library, if you always see the same person, and if you go often, you're able to see that this person's serious about their studies. If you see how they are when they're at the social nights out, you see like different people. And when I say like you get to choose your friends, even though like there might be 100 of you in that same law class, nobody is forcing you to like speak to every other 100 people. You get to choose like who you enjoy spending time with, who you want to like converse with, who you want to continue being with. And through that, even though you can say that it's limited because you're in the same university, universities are generally much bigger than high schools. So that's why you get to choose more of your friends. You get to truly decide like who you want to spend your time with. Because as I said, I lived alone in the room, so if I didn't want to spend if I truly didn't think I had friends spending time with, I could just go to my room, or I could spend time with people who lived like in other rooms in the dormitory. So just like that, like.
It's from your best friend then is from Bahamas or what?
Yeah, I have a good friend from this is my roommate from Bahamas. I have another very good friend from Nigeria, and I think those two would be my closest.
The guy from Bahamas, my best friend used to be from Bahamas.
Yeah.
Does he remember him? Or
yeah,
does he know?
He doesn't know him personally.
But
I think he's been to the church once.
He remembers him before he died.
Yeah.
He saw him before.
I don't know if they've met personally.
But he probably saw him somewhere.
Yeah,
but he knows who he is.
Yeah, because the Bahamas is not a big country, so if anyone is big from the Bahamas, I think the people generally tend to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so but my mother died 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So so this other guy from Nigeria, did they come all the way from Nigeria, or he's based in the UK?
It's a bit of both, where he's had like A levels in the UK, but like he had his secondary education in Nigeria, had like first degree in like Nigeria, and like a secondary degree in the UK. So it's been like a little bit of both.
Okay, what's his name?
Paul.
Paul. Yes. Where is he from? Is he Igbo, Yoruba? You don't know.
If I remember right, is it Efik?
Efik, yeah.
I don't remember the states.
Efik should be Benue State.
Yeah.
Is it Benue State? Yeah, Benue State or River State.
He's either Efik or he's close to Efik.
Efik, they should be Efik.
One
Efik, yeah. That's his tribe.
I don't know Nigerian states too well.
Yeah. That's one of the areas in Nigeria. He doesn't play basketball.
No, he doesn't.
He would like soccer, I guess.
He does soccer. He's not too into sports.
Okay. And why were you considering? Did you have a friend from Canada or somewhere, or why were you considering Canada at a point?
Oh well, I was considering Canada because as a child, like going to America was like the dream. Because I went to an American school, so I was always surrounded by Americans. And obviously as Americans, they remember like home. So every summer, maybe they'd go to America, they'd like bring stuff. So as a kid, the dream was always to go to America. But as I got older, as I got wiser, as I was able to see more around the news, I figured that America probably wasn't the wisest choice, as it's very unpredictable what happens in America nowadays. But I still wanted to be somewhere in an English-speaking country, somewhere close to America.
To the culture you are used to.
To the culture that I was used to, because I had gone to this American school for most of my life. So Canada just seemed like the next logical choice, as there aren't that many English-speaking countries. And also, since I'm doing my bachelor's in the UK, the Canadian and the UK system, at least law system, is connected. It's not like the US, who then like rebranches their whole government, the whole constitution, the whole law. The Canada, they still mirror the UK pretty similarly. So I'm still thinking about it, about maybe like practicing in Canada.
So you don't want, what about going to do masters in, let's say, in a university in the US? That will give you a different, a taste of the two worlds.
Possibly, but at this point I wasn't too interested in America. I was thinking if I was going to go to that side of the world, I'll just try to go to Canada right away, so I could just be based in that. It'd be much quicker for me if I'm already in that country to find, like, let's say, law firms that I want to work for.
But what that would do for you, I personally would say, America will present you a better platform for the future, because apart from getting to know greater number of people, you have the top universities in the world there too, especially in law. But besides that, can you believe it if I tell you that 75% or 72% of all lawyers in the world are in America. So the law, can you believe it? And almost 90% of all litigations in the world is in America. All lawsuits is in America. So America is a big law kind of society. So it will be interesting to know their law and their system a little bit. And then they control the financial system of the world too. So the two combinations you have, if you get to study masters in America with that, that will give you both the English and the, but you think about it, you have opportunity to, if you get good grades, in finishing your grade good, then you have better choice to be able to pursue your masters anywhere you want. Let me see if anybody is asking you any question.
All right.
Yeah, on Facebook. Mostly they are just complimenting you.
Oh, thank you guys for all the compliments.
Yeah, so complimenting you, complimenting me, complimenting mom. Yeah. So what do you plan to do while you are at home this time? Do you just want to rest and take some time to just, how do they call it, to chill out, or what do they call it? Or do you just want to study, or just be around us and see what we would like to offer, or what?
Yeah, so far, I haven't even been back a week yet, but so far I've just been enjoying my family's presence. I've been taking care of my sisters. I've been talking to my parents. As today, as you can see, I came down to just be behind the scenes with what my dad is doing. So far I've just been resting and just been like appreciating my parents' company. And then also plan to start the process of applying for my master's while I'm here. And because I already finished my bachelor's in June, so I already started.
Okay, EFIC is Cross River State. Cross River.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So while I'm here, I just also want to start thinking about the future, thinking about where I'm going to apply. So just start narrowing down my search. I already have the topic in mind. I just have to narrow down my schools, narrow down the countries, etc., etc. I'll also see some friends around while I'm here. I try to, because whenever I've been in the car riding in the city so far, I've seen that there's lots of new things that have popped up in Kiev while I've been gone. So it'll be really fun to go and check out some of those new places, to explore the city again, to explore the city that I grew up in. It's always fun to come back home and be like, oh, now there's a mall there. It used to be like a field there. Oh, there's a kiosk there. Oh, it used to be like a shoe shop. So it's always interesting to go to the old places where you grew up in and see the differences there. And yeah, I think I'll just be trying to appreciate being home, appreciate good home cooked meals and just enjoy being at home.
Yeah, I also heard that Igor just told me that Professor Chris and family will be coming.
Okay.
He's coming with his family, Chris in Mafidon.
Okay.
Yeah, so they want to spend some time with us before the new year.
Oh, perfect.
So they might be coming this Friday or next week. So, and then I think there is, then we have HMT coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When is that? Okay.
HMT from the 2nd to the 7th.
Oh, okay.
By the way, if you have not yet registered for the HMT, please go ahead and register for it by going to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/visit, or you could just write a guest, GUEST, guest at godembassy.org, and say you want to come for HMT, History Makers. History Makers is one of the most important, History Maker is one of the most important conferences you ever attend in your life. Let me show you some of the books that are here, and a lot of them Perez has not seen them. I will look, I say, I wonder how many he will be able to read. 7 Tips to Self-Fulfillment in Life is one of the books that I would really like to recommend people to read. How to Be in the Here and Now. Do you know this one?
Yeah.
I have it in Russian.
Yeah, I've read it in Russian.
Okay. How to Be in the Here and Now. Let Heroes Arise. Let Heroes Arise. That's another new book here. And where there is money, where there is problem, there is money. Raising up the new generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. I don't know if you have this.
I feel like
How to create your own net worth. How to secure your financial future. How to build it. Secure financial development. The dignity of labor. How to develop a nation through dignity of labor. Who am I? I can't see the book on opportunity. That's the one you
translated.
Translated.
Yeah, I spent one summer translating one of Dad's books from Russian to English. I think it took like 2 months. It was pretty tough because my dad uses good words. He writes really articulately, and I was trying to keep that same level of professionalism
in English
from Russian to English. That was really tough.
Nigeria and the leadership question. Oh, this is the leadership book that you might be interested in because
I took this one back last time.
Okay, only God can save Nigeria. How to make Nigeria the greatest country in the world. By the way, these books, you can actually become a distributor for them if you want. It's open for you to become a distributor for these books, and you'll make 60 to 70% on every book. So if you want to become a distributor, just write to DSS Books, DSS Books, one word, at gmail.com. So to be a distributor, just show your interest. We want the book to go around, and we want as many people to be able to be blessed by these books. And or you just want to buy them, you can buy them on Amazon or on the blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books, or just write to dssbooks@gmail.com. Nigeria economy, the way forward. This is about economy. You might be interested to get to know what my thinking on the economy of Nigeria. Now, how the Nigeria economy can overtake the American economy is another book.
I think I've heard a sermon on this.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book.
An article, you get that.
Yeah, an article.
Problems, your shortcut to prominence. Yeah. Stop working for Uncle Sam is another one here. How to regain your lost years. No one is better than you. That's another great one. So this is the opportunity book. I don't know if you have it.
No, it's different.
Yeah, it's a different
cover than the one
I
was used to.
Yep, that's it, the English cover. So let me see if anybody has any question here for you. Okay. Yeah, someone says 72% of the lawyers are in the US.
Wow.
Yeah. And all the lawsuits are
all the big ones.
Yeah. That's where all the law profession. And go for your master's, please. Somebody's telling you.
I will.
Yeah. So what is he asking?
What are the pros of living by yourself as a young man? What are the pros and cons of living by yourself as a young man? Well, Oh, obviously the cons are you're without your family. You you have to be responsible for everything you do by yourself. You have to cook for yourself, but also those can be pros because you finally have the independence that you may have always desired. You can cook for yourself, meaning that you can choose what meals you want to make. So there's always a good and a bad side to everything. But the most important thing I'd say is just to make sure that you use your independence wisely. When you're living in your parents' house, you have to follow their rules. But when you live by yourself, you have your own rules to follow. But you have to make sure those rules will actually benefit you. You have to make sure those rules won't make you sink into a hole that you can't climb out of. I think that's what's most important to think when.
I think another person has another question. Yeah.
Give me about where to go into to is it the university problem?
Yeah, maybe, you know. What about how to go to high school, college, or after
I think
high school?
Questions like what advice would I give a young man who's about to enter university? I think I talked about it earlier, but I'll just repeat where you need to make sure that you have good time management because you need to learn that you have many distractions and many things that will try to take your time while you're in university. Make sure that you remember that you came to university for school, you came to university to graduate with a high degree. So make sure that you're actually going towards that goal.
So what's your goal academically in the university?
Yeah, I want to get in the UK they're called firsts. That'd be maybe
First
like
degree, first class.
First class.
Oh,
that
first
maybe be like an A in maybe an American system. So I want to get the highest degree possible.
I think in Nigeria they call it one. They call it one.
Oh,
One. I think they call it one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the UK it's
In the UK it's the first class.
first class. Okay. I got it when I was in university. I got first class, not just first class, but with distinction as well. So very few people ever get that. So this is another one here. The creative and innovative power of a genius. This is very key.
This is really new.
This is really key book. Creative and innovative. You know, those are some of the two most important qualities in life. So, and then insultable ungodliness, how to overcome the fear of death, what to do with your time, how to become great, money won't make you rich,
A classic.
yeah, mountain of ignorance, the danger of monoculturalism. This is epic. This book is epic about, you know, how to view cultures and how to see yourself but then I've written another book that I don't have here yet, but we're going to have it soon. But it's on Amazon already. How Africans brought civilization to Europe. And any one of you who have read any of my books, we want you to write to me to vip@godembassy.org, and let me know which book you have read and which one you would like to comment on, because we will sometimes I invite you to come and share with us your impression about the books and to do a review of the books. So we do review of books, so I will be happy to hear any one of you who has read any of the books to come and do the book review with me. Just write to me at vip@godembassy.org and we'll do the book review. Another book here which is amazing. If there are books that I want everybody to read here, will be this one, The Law of Difference, Monoculturalism, and the other one, innovative and creative power of genius. Yeah. Then there's another one here. Discover your latent energy. How to discover your latent energy, and why you must become a workaholic. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. So those are the books that we have there on Amazon. But if you can also read all those books for free if you are on Amazon Unlimited. You know, not Amazon Unlimited, Kindle Unlimited. If you're on Kindle Unlimited, you could actually read over 20 of those books for free. So, you know, that's for you to be on Kindle Unlimited, you just have to pay $7 every month, like $8 every month. And then you'll be able to read as many books as you want. Well, then I want to remind you about our challenge, the Libya One Challenge. This Libya One Challenge is what we are trying to do to help all the Libyans that are under captivity in Libya and those who are coming back. We want to be able to raise $1 million, and any amount we raise, I want to double it. so that we'll be able to come together and use this to be able to help all these people. So if you want to help, please go to www.gofundme.com/Libya1Challenge. Libya1Challenge. GoFundMe. So you put it there, maybe it's $1. We are calling it $1 challenge, but the organization, the GoFundMe said no, you cannot put less than $5. So well, I think $5 will not be too much for you if you really want to help people. So let's go and put any amount we can put, maybe more than that. But the most important thing is that we want the information to go viral. So we want you to call out 5 names, challenge 5 people, call them out by name, and tell them to also take up the challenge, to go and put in their $1 there, and also to go and invite at least other 5 people to join in the campaign. So is there anything you'd like to tell people who are watching us? I don't know if you are going to be able to come back to, maybe most likely you're going to be back one day, because most likely we'll be back on your birthday. Because I don't know, many people are still talking about the lessons you gave to them on your 19th birthday.
I think I gave you almost all of them.
All of them already, yeah. But maybe this time it's just going to be interaction or something. But you are going to be. Is it next week? You're going to next week. You're going to be
20 years old.
20 years old. Wow, 20 years old. What does it think like? What does it look like thinking about it that you're going to be 20?
I mean, I don't feel 20, which is weird because it's weird that I've lived like 20 years. And it seems like at 20, it's like you're entering a new decade. I feel like we're entering like a new era in my life. And I'm just looking at, because since my birthday is almost at the very end of the year, every year, calendar year is basically like a full year of my life. So I'm just looking at 2018 as a whole. I'm just trying to make it like one of the most impactful years of my life. I'm trying to graduate with high honors in my degree. I'm trying to start my master's. I'm just trying to do everything else good I can in between. So as I turn 20, as 2018 approaches, I think I'm just ready to tackle it and to make 2018 one of the best years of my life.
Okay. Somebody is saying, what is the
greatest lesson
you learned from your dad? Yeah.
The greatest lesson I probably learned.
Too many for you to know the greatest.
Too many. Well, just probably one of my favorites is that I shouldn't be scared to be great. That I shouldn't try to limit myself to an average job, an average salary, a mediocre income. That I think everything I do, I need to do it to the capacity of being great. I need to do it with the intention of being great. And I think it's not only the lesson that I think is so important, but it's the belief that I can be someone great. Because it's one thing to want to do something, it's a complete other thing to actually believe in something.
Yeah.
And I think that belief has been instilled in me since I was young. And now that lesson of being great, how to be great, is something that I don't think I can ever take for granted.
Okay, someone is asking another thing.
How important do you think information technology is or relevant to you? Well, I think nowadays, especially in my generation, where we're growing up in, you could probably say, the technological era, we see iPhones, we see iPads, we see all these new technologies arise. And I think, at least for my generation, the internet is an excellent way to be a platform for you to grow. As you can see, my dad has been able to use Facebook Live in order to reach so many people, to reach thousands of people. And I think for my generation, for my era, it's even more important for us to use the advantages we have that the people of the older generations didn't have in order to spread our ideas more. So I think this information technology that we have, being able to just go on Google and search anything you want instead of having to go to the library to an encyclopedia, I think it's very important to be able to use that to our advantage.
Okay, someone is.
He said he translated one of the books from Russian to English. Where did he learn?
Maybe the 2 languages.
Where did he learn? Well, I've been, we're assuming he means where did he learn the 2 languages. So English, I learned mostly from my parents and from school. As I said, I've been going to a English school, American school from young. And Russian, I just learned it from living in Ukraine. I went to a Ukrainian preschool, and almost all the people around my parents as I was growing up were either Ukrainians or Russian. So like our nannies were Russian, our members of the church were Russians, our drivers were Russian. So everybody was Russian. So we just picked up Russian, and then as I got older, as maybe got into school, we learned stuff like grammar, about literature. So me being able to translate the book from Russian to English, it was just being able to be fluent in both languages and just having the level of fluency in order to just translate from one language to another. But of course I also used the internet to translate some words that I didn't know, for example, or to try to find a way to structure.
Dictionary.
Yeah, dictionary to structure or thesaurus to maybe say the words better.
Yep.
What struck you the most about UK culture? I think things that what I didn't realize was that how like cramped or how small everything is in the UK compared to Ukraine, because in Ukraine, and I think in the house, just like things are just generally bigger. In the UK, the roads are small, the cars are small, the houses could be big, but the rooms inside will still be small. And I don't know if that counts as culture, but that was one thing that for me, since I'm pretty tall, that's one thing that I really noticed.
That's one of the reasons why I cannot live in the UK, especially in London. Everything is so
I think so narrow,
small.
so crowded.
The rooms are so small.
Yep.
Look at the room here, for example. You can't
No
find
way.
such a room in.
This is like 3 rooms in the UK. More. So that's definitely something I've noticed. Just you can't not notice for someone my size.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think I'll have to come back in the next, in the next 25 minutes, really. I have to come back in the next 25 minutes. Well, welcome back home.
Yeah, it's really good to be
We've
home.
not really had time to spend time together. I've
Yeah.
been in my solitude, but I'll be back on. So I'll be out on Saturday or Friday, and we'll spend more time together. But you have to come around more, I guess, if you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
The girls will be free from Friday, right?
Yeah, from
Maybe they
tomorrow
will
to
come
last
around more. Maybe we'll do some more programs with you people. Maybe with you and the girls as well. Who knows? So, yep. So I think you people have enjoyed the special session with Perez coming back from school, coming back home after being away for over a year.
About 7, 8 months.
Almost a year, yeah. And so we hope to be able to get the guy who was supposed to be with me, Samuel, in another episode of Kingdom Fruits. And some of you want to feature in my program Kingdom Fruits as well. You need to write me to vip@godembassy.org. For you to know what is required to be Kingdom Fruits, go to Kingdom Fruits on my YouTube page. You'll be able to see one of the playlists. It's called Kingdom Fruits. So you have to have your testimony of how your life has been impacted since you met Pastor Sunday or DSA, and what you are planning to do, that you really have a vision to impact your world and make your world a better place. For you to come to Ukraine, like I said, write to guest at godembassy.org. So we'll be expecting you. We are going to have a time of our life here. It's going to be, can you imagine starting the new year with HMT training? It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be talking about how to use order to develop a nation. The principles of order. Order as a blessing, as one of the greatest blessings that God has given to humanity. So that's going to be from the 2nd to the 7th of January. And or you could come for the new year. We'll be happy to have you. And to review any of my books as well, just let me know which one you have read. And write to vip@godembassy.org. Or if you want to distribute any of the books, write to dsasbooks@gmail.com. If you want to buy as well, but you can buy on Amazon, and even read for free. But if you want to buy for ship, then write to dsasbooks@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your time. Peace.
Signing off.